Hi, this is Danielle, and I want to bring something amazing to your attention. And this is about giving. What I want to tell you, probably already know, but I want to bring it up. When you give something to someone, when you give it, it could be the smallest thing, and you don't feel that you're giving something huge. But the person that receives it feels that it's something huge. For example, if you give $10 and the person that receives it receives $100, wouldn't you be enjoying giving $10 to so many people to see the ripple effect and how happy they are for receiving your gift? This is the exact same thing. When we give something small, it could be a good word or a compliment, it could be a nice note, it could be just being grateful. For example, you take the kids to the doctor and they're sick, and the doctor gives medication, and the next day the kids feel so much better. Do you think about calling the doctor and saying, "Thank you so much, my kids feel so much better"? Many times we don't realize, we forget. You know, I used to go to a therapist years ago, and he was giving me a very good price. He was giving me a discount. And one time when I paid him, I told him, what you're giving me is so much more than what I'm paying you. It's incredible. And I saw right away his eyes like lit up. And he's like, "Thank you," because many times we forget that the people around us are the people that need to have a good word, a compliment, a feeling that they are validated and appreciated for who they are. And the same with the children. Many times as my children were growing, I would lay down in their bed and just look up the ceiling and think, how does it feel to be him right now? How does it feel to be her? What is she going through? What is her life like? Just laying down in her bed, in his bed, when the child was in school, and try to feel empathy for my child. Sure, it's not always easy, but it is important to try to see the reality of another person. Anyone is happy to get a compliment, a good word, or a smile. If you are not, into speaking to strangers, you don't have to. But if you speak to strangers, you'd be so surprised of what you discover. I just came to Miami yesterday, and in a plane from BWI to Fort Lauderdale was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I sat in the middle between two ladies that were between 50 to 60. And we started speaking, and it turns out we had so much in common. And for 2.5 hours straight, we were talking, we were laughing, we were sharing pictures, sharing magazines. We discovered we had so much in common. And when we arrived and landed, we just couldn't believe it that we made it already. It went so fast. And we exchanged numbers and emails, and we want to stay in touch. And these were just two strangers in the plane. So what I'm trying to say is, don't be shy. Talk to someone. Talk to a stranger. Make a small conversation. If it's the mailman, if it's the pharmacist, if it's the cashier. You know how hard it is for the cashier? Believe it or not, I worked as a cashier 18 years ago for a few months. I couldn't believe how difficult of a job it was. And so many times now when I do my shopping and I see the cashier looks exhausted and strained, I tell her, "You have such a hard job." I know. You know how I know? I did it too. And it was very hard. And I appreciate your help. And I see how her face lights up. All people want is a good word, a smile, and validation. Think about it. Think about the people that are the closest to you. These are the ones that are the most forgotten. Your husband, your wife, your mother, your father. If you're lucky to still have your parents, it's amazing. These are the people in the world that love you the most. The very most in the world. And it's amazing. And pick up the phone. Call your mother. Call your dad. "Hey, Dad, how are you doing?" I would give the world to be able to have a conversation with my dad. I would. I call my mother. "How are you? How are you feeling?" And she's like, "What about you? I want to hear what about her." Right? And especially she's so far away. If you have your parents and they're nearby, it's such a pleasure. I try to have time with my grandchildren. When I flew, I took a picture from the sky with clouds, and I sent it to my grandson and my granddaughter. And I told my children, "Here, tell them that I'm in the plane," and sending them a picture from the sky. That was so amazing. Make sure you cherish every minute and every person in your life. Until we talk again.